All right. Welcome, everybody. Today, I'm going to help you understand how to get new patients from AI without having to use AI. While AI is becoming more and more useful, we're not going to be covering how to use AI to do tasks that would generate more patients, such as content ideas or video scripts. What we're going to be discussing is how to get new patients to find you when they're asking AI a question or using it to search. We've been diving deep into how AI is already influencing who shows up online, and it's wild how subtle but serious the changes have become. There's a saying, best known beats best, and what that means is you could be the best chiropractor out there, but the doc that's best known will get more patients than you. And the best way to get known is to show up where people are hanging out. That's still true, and even though Google search and people's behavior are changing, how and where you do that is evolving. And actually doing something about it is becoming more critical. That's why I'm sharing this info today, so you can get ahead of this instead of trying to play catch up after you notice your number of new patients falls off a cliff. Think about the last time you actually typed something into a search bar. Now, think about how often you just ask a question out loud to your phone, to Siri, to Alexa, maybe even your car. That's not the future, that's already here. And that behavior is accelerating fast. In a few years, people won't be browsing search results. They'll ask a question, and AI will give them one answer. The only question left is, will that answer be you? Today, what we're going to cover is how search behavior is changing and why it matters for your practice, why showing up in search won't matter anymore, what AI is already doing to shape who gets found and who doesn't, and how search engine optimization is evolving into answer engine optimization, and what that means for chiropractors. And I'll share strategies to stay visible now and dominate as AI keeps evolving. In the age of AI-driven search, people won't browse, they'll ask. And unless you or your brand is positioned to be the answer, you won't even be mentioned, because soon there won't be a list of results. There will be only one result. People used to search for keywords. Now they ask full questions. And soon they won't even ask. AI will offer answers. But even though people are still searching, they don't really want a list of websites to spend time reading before they get to their answer. They just want the answer. So tell me if you can relate to this. A couple of years ago, I was looking for a good jambalaya recipe, so naturally I turned to Google, searched for good, authentic jambalaya recipe, and then I had to sift through images with recipe names and click into each one and read the ingredients, check their reviews. Eventually, I went to YouTube and found a good Cajun chef who had a channel, and I watched him prepare jambalaya and decided to follow his recipe. I didn't really want to have to process all that information and then determine on my own which to use. I didn't want a list of results that I had to spend a lot of time and mental energy figuring out which to use. I just wanted a good recipe. Fast forward to last month, and my wife made 2 dinners from recipes created by ChatGPT. Not found by ChatGPT, but created by it. And they were surprisingly good. When I was a kid, there was a local shop called Astro Transmission, but they spelled Astro with 2 A's. Does anyone know why? They didn't spell their name that way because it looked good or was cool. They picked it so they'd show up first in the phone book. That one decision got them more visibility, more calls, more business. If you remember using the Yellow Pages, then you probably remember all sorts of businesses that started with A, or even 2 or 3 A's. And then came Google, and businesses had to optimize for keywords instead. So to get found or get ranked higher, what letter the name starts with doesn't matter. What matters is if the main keyword is in the name. So for example, if I'm searching for a chiropractor, XYZ Chiropractic will be ranked higher than ABC Health Center because chiropractic is in the name. Now we're entering the next shift, from keywords to questions and to one single answer. In this new world, gaming the system won't work. You have to actually build authority and earn trust. People used to search with just main keywords like tingling hands. Then people started using what we call long tail phrases such as sudden tingling hands, no reason. Now they ask full-on questions like, when should I worry about tingling in my hands? Soon they won't even type. They'll just ask out loud. In fact, people are already doing that more and more. And eventually, they won't even need to ask. AI will anticipate. Search results? Gone. There'll be only one answer. So how do you work your way into being that answer? That's what I'm about to get into. You're going to want to make sure to put your phone down, close anything else on your computer, because as usual, today there's no fluff, and because time is our most scarce resource, I'm going to move through these pretty quickly so you're informed and able to get new patients that are searching or asking AI for help in as little time as possible. So real quick, just want to let you know a couple things about me that really sets me apart from everyone else in the space. I've been doing digital marketing for more than 20 years. I founded my own marketing agency. For several years, I was brought in by billion-dollar brands around the world to coach them on their innovation practices, including getting the right product market fit, and then add millions and millions of dollars to their bottom line. And I switched from helping all kinds of businesses to marketing for chiropractors in February of 2017, starting with my own chiropractor. Now, we work exclusively with chiropractic offices across the US and Canada. Okay, enough about me. Here's how search is evolving. In the past, people might search for sciatic treatment near me. Now they're asking questions like, what can they do for sciatica besides surgery? Soon, people will be asking, who should I see to fix my sciatica? And when the AI is more integrated, it will follow up by asking the question, do you want me to book an appointment for you? And you know what? That feature already arrived last week at the Google Live event. They demonstrated that type of use case in the latest Android operating system named Gemini, where Gemini offered to contact a business, then did that in the background, and then let the person know once that was done. AI literally contacted the business, made the request on behalf of the person, and then let them know when it was complete without the person having to do anything other than talk to the AI. Despite how you may feel about it, that type of AI assistance will be the norm soon. Let's look at what's already happening with search right now. We're seeing more and more searches get answered by AI without needing to go to a website. Google calls that an AI overview and uses Gemini to summarize the answer. 88% of AI overviews are triggered by people asking questions. Questions like, can sciatica heal on its own? When should I worry about tingling in my hands? But here's the thing. AI doesn't respond with links. It responds with answers. A person gets what they need without ever clicking through to a website. And depending on the AI, there will often be a link or two for the source information so a person can click over if they want to read more or verify the answer. But very often, no click ever occurs. That's what we call a zero-click result. And this is already reducing website traffic dramatically because people aren't browsing anymore. They're asking, getting an answer, and moving on. Now layer in voice search. 1 in 5 people use voice search regularly, and that number is only climbing. And it's not just searching. We're not even going to call it voice search much longer. And when a person speaks instead of types, their query sounds more like a conversation. But even when it really is a search, that experience is becoming way different than it has been for the last 20 years. For example, just yesterday, we needed to find a cleaning service for a short-term rental. I did not want to type that into Google and get dozens of website links to evaluate and get contact information. Instead, I went to ChatGPT, told it, Turnify is out of business. We need to find a cleaner for our short midterm rental property. What options do we have in Tucson, Arizona? And it gave me a list of 5 companies along with key info that I would care about, website, and most importantly, their phone number. So we called a couple on that list, and it was just so much faster, easier than browsing websites on Google, even though this technically was a search. So as we migrate to more voice interaction and less keyboards and screens, AI will just give me the best recommendation, ask if I want to call them, and it will place the call for me. Now let's talk about who's really controlling access to information today. We used to think of Google as the gatekeeper, but now that gate has been replicated across every major platform people use. We're not just talking about search engines, we're talking about Siri, Google's Gemini, Alexa, ChatGPT, and even Tesla's voice system. These AI assistants are embedded in the devices people interact with all day long. Their phone, their car, their TV, even their glasses. And Siri is now integrated with ChatGPT. Google is integrating Gemini into just about everything. What we're witnessing is the evolution from using search engines to get answers and do things to using AI in answer engines. That means your visibility can't just be optimized for Google. It has to be recognized across all these AI-driven platforms. To get found, you need to stop worrying about search engine optimization and start working on your answer engine optimization, or AEO. You need to make sure that Siri, Gemini, Alexa, ChatGPT, and whatever AI your car uses and whatever's next, that they believe you are the best answer and recommend you. Imagine this. Someone mutters, "Man, my head's killing me." They didn't ask a question, but their AI assistant picks it up. It responds, "Would you like help with that?" And it may give some self-remedy advice. Or it may notice it's the third time this week and suggests seeing someone about the headaches and even recommends a specific provider. This is where we're heading. And the chiropractor that gets recommended is going to be the one that AI trusts the most. So the next logical question is, how does AI decide who to recommend? Why would Siri or ChatGPT or Google's Gemini choose you instead of someone else in your city? Well, it comes down to four things, and this is consistent across platforms. First is authoritativeness. Are you cited around the internet? Do you have strong reviews? Are you visible on reputable platforms? The more signals you give off that say this person or brand is the authority, the more likely AI is to trust you and recommend you. Second, helpfulness. Now, I love this one. So much of our approach to marketing is around building connection and being helpful. Do you have video or written content that actually answers the kinds of questions that people, potential patients ask? Or the questions they ask before they consider contacting a chiropractor or other provider? Those earlier stage questions are the ones that people get answered by AI with zero-click answers, more without needing to go to the website. But the AI gets the answers from someone's website content and links or puts it next to the summarized answer. The more of those answers you provide, don't you think the higher AI will consider recommending you when a person asks who can help them? All right. Third is trustworthiness. This includes reviews, ratings, mentions across respected directories, and how consistent your information is across the web. If there are discrepancies or low ratings, that erodes trust, not just with humans, but with machines too. And finally, clear answers to clear questions. That means no fluff, no jargon. It also means a stark difference from what I see on most chiropractic websites, where it's obviously written to game SEO with keywords and only says to come in to get help with that issue. I find very little truly helpful content on most chiropractic websites, even the ones that have a blog, because they're written typically as a self-marketing material. Think in terms of, can sciatica go away on its own? Or what are signs of a pinched nerve? You want short, direct, useful answers. The clearer or more concise your content, then the more AI understands and uses it. Because AI is not searching and giving a list of results. It's summarizing and giving an answer. And if your practice isn't already answering questions in a clear, trustworthy, and authoritative way, you're not going to be the one that summarizes and references. So now that we know AI is prioritizing authority, helpfulness, trust, and clarity, how do you actually build that authority? This is where most chiropractic website providers go wrong. They build websites that just talk about themselves, use generic language, and don't address the questions people have before they decide to move forward. If you want AI to recognize you as the trusted answer, you need to start with having helpful content. And then structure that content with schema markup, FAQs, and clearly labeled answers. This isn't just about SEO. It's about making your content easy for AI to parse and summarize, but also helpful and readable to the average person. Take real questions people ask, like what causes numbness in the hands, and answer them in blog posts on your site. Each answer becomes a signal that tells AI, hey, this doctor knows what he's talking about. Cite data and stats. When you can support your answer with facts, it raises your credibility for both humans and AI. Even referencing studies or trusted medical sources improves the perception of your expertise. And most importantly, be precise. Don't ramble, don't fluff. Give direct, specific, helpful answers. And if your content checks those boxes, then you have more chance of being recommended. But there's more that needs to be done outside of your website. Now let's talk about something chiropractors rarely think about: distribution. It's not just what you say, it's where you say it and where your brand shows up. AI doesn't just pull from your website, it pulls from everywhere your name appears, or doesn't appear, but your competitors do. That's why your practice needs to have presence across multiple platforms, starting with Google Maps, which is still dominant in local discovery. Make sure your profile is optimized, consistent, and full of reviews. In Apple Maps, yes, that matters, especially for iPhone users using Siri. And YouTube. Google owns it, and video answers are indexable by AI, and sometimes they're the most relevant answer for specific questions. And then you have Yelp, Rate MDs, Health Grades, and other healthcare-specific directories that ChatGPT and Bing scan for credibility. And don't forget the indirect signals. Are you mentioned in community forums, Reddit? Are there articles where your name appears as an expert? Do your reviews show up across platforms, not just Google? Because AI is cross-referencing everything. It's looking for patterns, consistency, and saturation. The more visible and consistent your presence is across these platforms, the more signals you send that say, this provider is known, liked, and trusted. That's how you get ranked before the question is asked. Branding is one of the most important shifts that almost nobody is talking about. Search used to be about keywords. You try to rank for phrases like chiropractor near me or back pain treatment San Diego, but now AI doesn't just look for matching keywords. It looks for entities. Your practice, your name, your brand, those are entities. AI models are trained on billions of data points. They remember who's been mentioned, where, and in what context. So if your brand is showing up consistently across the web in reviews, articles, directories, social content, AI starts to recognize you as a trusted entity. But if you're invisible online, you don't even get a seat at the table. And it's not just about recognition, it's about reputation. When your brand is associated with clear answers, helpful content, and consistent good reviews, that's what makes AI decide who to recommend. Keywords used to get you found, but your brand is what gets you recommended by AI and also recognized by potential patients. Let's be clear. This isn't about choosing between SEO and AEO. This is about recognizing that SEO has already evolved. And if your strategy hasn't, you're already behind. SEO focused on getting your website to rank. AEO focuses on making sure you're the one AI chooses to recommend, even if a person searches. And that means visibility isn't just about ranking on Google. The platforms people now use to get answers like Siri, ChatGPT, Copilot, Alexa, they aren't crawling your site the same way a search engine does. So how do you influence what answer they provide? You create clear, structured, helpful content. And you distribute signals of trust across multiple properties that AI can access and use as evidence. Google Maps and Apple Maps for location relevance. YouTube for topical authority in video form. Directories like Rate MDs and Health Grades and Yelp for credibility and citation consistency. Your website structured with schema, FAQs, and direct answers. And it's becoming less about keyword relevance and more about your brand presence and helpfulness. If you want more guidance on creating helpful content, go watch my previous webinar on getting quality patients from social media or reach out to me personally. At this point, you can probably feel it. The shift isn't theoretical. It's not something coming someday. It's already happening. AI is already answering questions instead of linking to websites. People are already asking Siri, Alexa, and ChatGPT who to see. And those tools are already recommending someone. So here's the blunt reality. If you're not the answer, you're invisible. Not lower down the list, not losing a little traffic, invisible. That's what happens when there's no list, when there's just one result. The only practices that will grow in this next era are the ones who earn trust at scale. That means showing up with helpful content, being visible across platforms, building a brand that both humans and AI recognize as the expert. Because in the age of AI-powered search, the game isn't about ranking, it's about being the brand AI trusts and recommends. And you still have time to become that brand, but not much. If you want to actually become the trusted answer AI recommends, here's what you need to do next. Update your website with Q&A sections that answer the real questions your patients are asking. Not just fluff, not generic, actual answers about specific conditions. Create helpful blog content, short, useful, symptom or condition-based articles that sound like you're talking to a patient, because that's what AI will be doing. And it needs to get its answer from somewhere. Why not get it from you? Use structured data markup on your site. This means AI models better understand what your content is about and surface it as the answer. List your businesses everywhere it matters. Google Maps, Apple Maps, RateMDs, Yelp, Healthgrades, so much more. You want consistency across all of them. Collect more good reviews. Not just Google, but all the sites that have reviews about businesses or health professionals. AI aggregates all of that, and different AIs will prefer different directories, so you need to have a strong reputation across all these multiple platforms. And if you don't want to do this alone, or you don't believe your current marketing company is up to the task, and you want to know how I can help, I opened some spots on my calendar, and I'm offering a free strategy call, and we can talk one-on-one about how to apply this to your practice. Whether you work with me or not, you'll leave that call with clarity. Just scan the QR code or go to growyourchiropractic.com/schedule and book a time now. I encourage you to connect with me and follow us on your favorite channels. @Sebastian Mailer is my personal Instagram, and you can check out our page or channels under Grow Your Chiropractic. That's all I have for today. I hope you got some actionable items out of today, and if you'd like to talk about having us handle this or any of your online marketing for you, we can do that. Just go to growyourchiropractic.com/schedule or scan the QR code and set up a time to talk with me personally. I'll be happy to help however I can so you can achieve your goals.